Hey everyone, this is I23 here, and this video is about a year overdue. But we're going to do two things in this video today. First one being how to spot a fake Generation 3 Pokemon cartridge. And I'll show you guys pretty much every way to find an authentic one and where to buy them. And secondly is I'm going to show you how to replace the battery in the Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald cartridges. So this is the one that we're going to replace, Emerald. All these are authentic, so if you want to use any of these for reference in the when you buy, please be my guest. So we'll just start off with Emerald since we have it up front. So every Gen 3 cartridge, you can see very clearly, has these engraved numbers. So they can be random. It's pretty much serial numbers. So that's the first thing you want to look for on the front of the cartridge. If you look at the Emerald, you see how it's that shattered glass look. Most fake cartridges, actually about 99% of them, have this glossed over look. So you won't be able to see like this shattered glass effect on it. So two very obvious things to look at in the pictures. Secondly, to look at, if you can look at underneath the cartridge and try to, light's not that great, that's pretty good. You see how it says 2002 Nintendo? That always should be the same, at least for Emerald. Now, when it comes to Fire and Leaf Green, now that I'll show you, it changes. The boards change because there's multiple productions of this. But for Emerald, they kind of kept it the same. You don't see anything. So that's the things you should look at in the front. Back of the cartridge, very, very obvious. So there's three notable points you should look at. So you see these gold squares right up there. Every authentic cartridge is going to have these. Doesn't matter which game it is, all of them have the gold squares up top. They also have these three gold dots. If you look very closely on the bottom right here, you see that K with a circle. Get that. There's always either a K or an I circled right there. All these 100% legit. Super easy. So that's Emerald. So let's go to Ruby and Sapphire. So I brought a couple out here just to show y'all. All these have the 2002, if you can see underneath. Let me see if I can get a better angle. Yeah, 2002 Nintendo. All of them have it on the board. And so we can just look at these two off. So this right one has been kept in a lot better condition than this left one I bought. But as you can still see, both have, I'm looking for the serial number. See how that's 05? And this one, so it can be anywhere on this right side. This one just so happens to be right on top of the seal. So it's kind of hard to see. That's 22A. So there's not like a perfect serial number to look at the front, but you can tell how one is, looks, could be considered off. And that's why I got these two, because it looks really good. But once again, if we check the back, perfect board, everything's the same. Just the right one was kept in so much better condition, less wear and tear, nothing, gold squares intact, just, and it is what it is, condition. Same thing with Ruby and Sapphire, with Sapphire. So the right one's in a lot better condition. As you see, like, you can just tell, this one looks authentic, the left one, just because it has the wear and tear. As for this right one, you could, be a little weary of. But then again, if you can, let me get the light right onto it. The serial number is right there, the 22, right on top of the seal. It's very hard to see. Once again, the board, you got 22. And then the backs with Sapphire, it's a lot harder. But if you get the light on it, you see the gold squares, same thing. All legit. It's very easy to tell if these are fakes or not, because on the backs here, especially with Ruby and Sapphire, you'll see like dots all the way. Like, it looks like it's messed up. So the hardest one I've seen lately of at least people faking is Fire Red and Leaf Green. So like I said, it all follows suit. So there's like no shattered glass or anything. Like, it kind of looks glossy, the sticker anyway. So once again, we're looking for that serial code. The serial code, if you see right there, if I get the light on it, it's right on top of the Nintendo logo. It has an A right there. It's 22A. Fire red, this one's a lot easier to see. You can see the 15. This leaf green is very easy to see, has a 07. And then this one's 41A, and it's right on top of the code again. So that's all good signs, you know, that they wouldn't put a fake, typically don't put a fake board in real ones. So again, the squares, you can see the squares right here. They're not necessarily gold because of how they're not as transparent in the cartridges right here. So all these have the squares, super easy. If you really shine a light, you can see the K and the dots right there. So here's the thing that can throw people off though. And these are a lot easier to see in light. So the boards, if you look at this one, this has an MB circle with the Nintendo circle around it, all right? So look at another leaf green, but wait, this leaf green has an I circled with Nintendo circled around it. Let's try the third one to see if any matches. This one says 2001 Nintendo with no Nintendo logo circled. But let's check fire red. This one also has VDD with a C circle in front of it. Copyright 2001 Nintendo. From my understanding and my research on this, all of these are 100% legit just from what I showed you off the board. But Fire Red and Leaf Green was such a hit on the remake that there were so many productions from other places that you have the board, like these two came from the same, as you can tell. They're practically identical, same. As for these were second and third runs of the boards. For some reason, they didn't just keep, you know, everything the same like they did Ruby and Sapphire. So all these are legit. Don't be thrown off, you know. All these are references. I think there's one more other, there might have been a fourth or fifth run, I'm not sure, that I've seen. But all these games are legit. Just the board has that weird serial, you know, whatever the Nintendo logo. And on fake games, you can definitely tell they try way too hard of faking it that way. But all these been tested, had all these in my collection for the past 2 years. Don't see a problem. All right. That does it up for all the Gen 3 games. All should give you a point of reference for almost any game you see across. So the last thing I'm going to do, which I've seen people be hesitant on, is replacing dead batteries. So the reason you replace dead batteries, especially in Ruby and Sapphire, is for shiny hunting. Can't get shinies, RNG's broken. Emeralds, RNG's always broken, but that's for y'all to look at different videos. I'm not going to explain shiny hunting in here. So anyway, I'm going to replace this one just because I like having the replace batteries on it. So the 3 things you need, obviously the cart not being one of them, is the correct size is 1616, but a 1632. Don't go anything past these because it'll make the cart too thick. And I think this Sapphire, if you can see how thick this right one is compared to this left, because someone tried to replace it with a bigger battery. I pushed it back, but it still has this little bubble over here. It won't necessarily fit into your cart. It'll be too high. So you want to get these 1616. 1632 works just fine. You can get them on eBay for, I think it was like 2 for $3. They come in like a couple of days. Super quick. These last up to 8 years, so you don't have to replace them again. Super simple. So next thing you're going to need is electrical tape. So scissors preferred, you know, if cutting certain width, I'll show you why. And then last thing we need is screwdrivers. So one is the Triwing one, as you see here. You can't really get the point up there, but the screw on the back only. Do not try to use a, you know, Phillips head, anything flat head. You're gonna strip the screw and it's gonna be stuck or broken, and you have to get a new screw, and that's a whole nother problem. So order the Triwing one. It's about like $6 to $8. You get it, you know. And then what I'm gonna use to remove the battery is a simple flathead. I'm not gonna use a soldering kit like people get afraid about, and that's why I made this video, because people are saying, you know, I want it replaced already, or they're only gonna buy games if it's replaced, the batteries replaced, anything like that. So we're not gonna, you know, need a $50, $60 soldering kit. You don't have to worry about anything. Simple flathead screwdriver is going to do the trick for us. So actually, I'm gonna grab some scissors real quick. And we're gonna start this. So it's all relatively simple. So, you know, you just get your Triwing, and what we're going to do is just going to put that guy in there. Take the screw, do not lose it. All you do is slide the front part, you see it pops down, and it comes right out. But this one's a little stuck. There we go. So, main case, pretty, just falls right out the chip. I'll just leave these over here for now. I typically clean this because, as you can see, you know, we all own these games as a kid and got gunks and stuff. If the board looks super clean, you can see the gold a lot better on these of how clean. I mean, this looks like, you know, Nintendo quality product. So the problem people have, and I'll point out right here, is getting this battery undone. So you can see the solders here and here. And typically what you'll see in videos is people, you know, get a soldering tool, heat these up, and it removes off super easy. You're done. So what I'm going to use is a little flathead guide, because if you see these 4 points, this is what connects the battery. So there's 4 here and 4 on the underside. So I'll show you exactly how I do it. It's super easy. So as you can see, there's like no gap in between this battery right here whatsoever. So it's pretty stuck. So what you do is you get the very end point of this. So I'll get you into focus. See if I can zoom for y'all. Perfect. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get right here. And you use the corner of this to push down the battery, because we don't care about the battery. You're not going to bust the battery. So you're going to create space. You're going to push in, then you're going to get leverage right under there. See? So now I'm underneath it. So you're going to slowly inch it up right here. And now this, you're going to, don't freak out necessarily, but just keep wiggling. You're going to hear 2 pops once you get this. So I'm going to wiggle all underneath. You hear those 2? So now the 2 points of contact are free. So now I just have the last bottom 2. Both 2 are free. You just got to apply a little pressure and bend this bad boy all the way up. You'll see the little indent right there. So we're going to do the same thing to the backside, because the backside's the harder part. So now you can lift this contact up. I typically bend it all the way here. You see that we have these 4 points. So I'm going to dig into the battery again with the side of my screwdriver. Create some space so I can get underneath or in. There's 1, there's 2, 1, 2. Done. Perfect. No damage to the cart. The contacts look a little bent. Very easy. They're very flexible. It's kind of like aluminum foil, where you can just bend these guys around. Super easy. So now we have our battery. So I'll get you back here. This is the easy part. So now that we have it all undone, I'll grab scissors, cut this guy open. Guess it was a big enough cut. It's like a $4 battery, and they make these things literally impossible to open sometimes. Ooh. There we go. So we'll pop it out. So we saw that, you see how this one's thinner and this one's a little thicker. That's why you prefer the 1616, because it's a little thinner than the guy I have here. So this one we're going to, so we have to lay it the same way. So this contact goes down first, and then this on top. So if you look, there's a positive and negative side. The positive side, this flat one, it's very easy to tell, is going to go right here, and then it's going to lay on top, just like that. The battery should be good to go. You won't shock yourself. Don't worry about any of that. So what we're going to do is we're going to get some electrical tape. And I like to get not too much, about like 3 inches right here. And I'll cut it. And then I want to take, this is still too thick, so what I'll do is I'm gonna cut this about almost halfway, but not too much. So I'll show you the final product after I'm done cutting. Perfect. So I just took about 30–40% off it. So what we want to do first is lift the bottom contact up. I'm going to lay this right here. All right. So then we're going to lay down the bottom contact to stick to this. So it looks just like that. It won't stick, but that's, well, there we go. Prove me wrong. So then we're going to grab our battery. We're going to lay him right down on there. So we need both points of contact to stick. So we're going to flip this guy right there. So after. So you take this back end, the long piece still staying over there. Just laid it out, put the contact, pull it as tight as you can across and hold. So now the battery looks like that. And you want to see this indent right here. Zoom in. You see how close? Right there, yeah. So you pretty much want it busting through. And then I pulled this last piece and lay him right on top and get nice and tight. So you see how you pretty much can see the battery stuck to that. This excess stuff, I'm just gonna grab some scissors. Ooh. I'm just gonna snip away. Just tear that guy off. Perfect. Wrap it, and boom. So it looks like from almost every battery replacement I've done soldering, I've done, you know, this the electrical tape's the easiest. You'll see how it's elevated. It's gonna stay down if I hold it, right? But once I release it, it goes up. The case will hold it down because remember, it's tight in there. So don't worry about that. Just make sure it's as tight as possible. You don't want it super loose and, you know, like the battery all the way out of contacts, but just keep it nice and tight. So I kind of just hold it there for about, I would say 30 seconds to a minute, just so, you know, adhesives can work and get it all rolling. So no biggie. Say about 10 more seconds and then I'll put it back in the case. So don't forget your little screw you forgot, anything like that. Make sure what's front. I mean, it's not too hard to forget anything, but all right, should be good. So I'm going to place it back in there and then you push down on the case first. So push, right? I'm going to slide up. So mine's actually stuck because I think I actually put too much tape on. So this is why you don't buy the bigger battery, because you see how it's elevated. You want everything to fit nice and tight. So I think this part up here is catching. So you want to make sure everything around this is as tight as possible. Keep enough space in. So press down. Slide up. So right here, you see how this well, you can't really see. You see how that hooks in right there? You need all that to press in nice. But I can't because this part of the tape right here is a really good example, is catching on it. So this is why you have to look at every single part and get it so firm, even though it's, you know, super indented, pressed on, everything. It's still not wanting to go. Let's get it. Might have to cut off some of this, unfortunately. We'll just get our scissors. snip off some of the edges here. So I'm just snipping this because this is what's catching on the sides. That's why I prefer the 1616. 1632 is the biggest one you can fit without having too much problem. But as you can see, since it's still a little bit bigger than the 1616, it still catches on some of the parts that are supposed to fit nice. So this seems a little off. Okay. Let's try it now. See what's catching now. So, see how wide that is? I'm gonna have to fix that. But you see, that's why you don't buy the bigger battery, because if there's too much tape, even though it's fit on perfectly, it's going to cause this bend up top here. And like, it'll fit your game fine, I'll show you, but it'll stick. So that's why you typically don't want the bigger tape. And this one, you see the difference now of how this, oh, I can't see. See how this is elevated? You can see inside it. As for this, you can barely see inside. So not necessarily great for the case, but for the sake of replacing the battery and showing y'all how to do it. So grab your last screwdriver, put her in, put it nice and tight. There. All done. So we'll test it out real quick. So put it up here. Maybe here. So you see how tight this thing is, and like, gotta put her in. Blow it out. Good old way. There we go. Turn you on. Boom. No dry internal battery. So, you can start the game perfectly fine. You know, show it, nothing will change off of it. Perfect. So, the only bad thing about this is, you know, you can see the top bend, no biggie, you know. That's why you don't buy big batteries. You can fit up to like a 17, I think it's 52 in these things, but as you can see, if you don't want that bend, it kind of sucks, but it doesn't hurt the board, just hurts the top of the case. Creates that little bubble, as you can see if I just lay it here. Little bubble. But last thing I'll talk about is where to find these games. So my last video of Diamond and Pearl and Platinum, people kept asking, you know, how'd you get these games? You know, what do you mean they're $20, $30? They're now $50, $60. So I bought all these games. I bought all my emeralds for $60. I actually got one for 10. Got all my leaf greens between 20 and 30, all my fire reds, and all these around 20, 30 bucks. Don't believe the hype. Don't try and, you know, get these for 20, 30 bucks always, all right? It's called patience, and patience is a virtue. So every fire red I saw come on eBay or Mercari Facebook Marketplace. Those are all I buy off of my local game store. I didn't go buy immediately. I was like, I gotta have this, everything. Wait for the price being right. I'll pretty much get on Mercari and eBay every day, you know, at least for an hour and just look at games, or, you know, I have notifications set if a new one comes on, things like that. Same thing with any local game store. Support your local game stores. They're huge. I love mine. And I mean, I got some of these emeralds, like I said, for 50, 60 bucks. Facebook Marketplace is one where I got an emerald for 10 like 2 years ago. Like, yes, the prices for these are crazy. You know, people are selling these for 40, 50. Emeralds I see $80 to $100. You know, fire red and leaf green, 50 to 60 bucks. You don't have to buy them at the prices. No one's telling you to buy them. The market is the market. Yes, you know, everyone's trying to collect to get back in it. But I mean, I have over 30 of these. And like I said, I've never paid full price for them because there's always someone that's going to see, you know, 40 to 50 of these selling for 40 or 50 bucks. And then they're going to say, look, I don't care about this enough. Throw it up for 20, 25, 30 bucks. You just have to be the first one to buy it. It's plain and simple. So don't be impatient. Don't say, oh, I got to have these now. I want to play them now. If you got the money, you're willing to pay the price, sure, 50, 60 bucks. I'd pay the same price if I were you, if I, you know, was impatient and all that. But I like collecting these. I like enjoying them. You know, I love shiny hunting. I love playing through all of them. I love all of it. So don't be impatient. My recommendation for anyone looking for these games is Mercari, eBay, Facebook Marketplace, your local game stores. Just have some patience, take some time, allocate some time in your days, weeks, months, however long it takes you want to find these for reasonable. If I remember when I was in high school and college, you know, I didn't have disposable income I have now. Yeah, I wouldn't pay 50, 60 bucks for a fire red game and, you know, $100 for, you know, brand new Game Boy or whatever. Be patient. There's always deals coming up. There's always people willing, you know, to undercut the market just so they can sell it quickly. Wait for those buys. I see people all the time say, oh, I'm impatient. I don't want to pay 50, 60 bucks, but I'm going to buy this ruby that they sold 1,000 of off eBay for 10 bucks and it plays. And then after a week, their game freezes and I get a message on Discord or comment on one of my YouTube or even a message on YouTube saying, look, why is my game fake? Can you help? I didn't know this was fake all along. I paid X amount. Sorry. Make these videos so these scammers don't keep ripping y'all off, because they're almost charging full price now for some. They're charging 30 bucks for, you know, some of these fake rubies and fire reds. So do what you want. I'm more than happy, you know, to answer questions or anything. You know, if you have pictures to send me, I'm willing, you know, to give you my Discord out so you know you can send me whatever. I've helped a bunch of people since my first video, you know, finding real games, knowing where to go. I link people. There's some Discords I'm in that even have, you know, bunch of mods will be very happy to help, you know, spot you a fake game, you know, even find you games. There's more than help you. Just all you have to do is just reach out, comments. I check about once a week. I don't get on YouTube that much, but I just come on just to help. So if you have any questions, leave a comment below, like if you want, and subscribe if necessary. But like I said, these come far few and in between if necessary and what people recommend. So y'all have a good night.